Welcome to Banjos After Hours. That's where we do some jokes, an interview, and maybe a musical guest or something. I don't know.
Cool.
And you're the interviewee for today. So,
Cool.
uh, this is so cool. So, of
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
course, I've been communicating with my congressman about cannabis legalization, and this is an excerpt from one of his emails.
Okay.
Marijuana is addictive, impairs cognitive ability, and is a gateway drug. Why is cannabis viewed this way, and can you help dispel some myths?
Yeah, so I think that unfortunately what we still see a lot of is that kind of we call it reefer madness. I don't know if you've probably heard the term before. But yeah, it's kind of just the spreading of those myths and propaganda, usually by government officials like the congressman. And I think it's definitely more common and specifically with like older white men. So we definitely see it more from some of those conservative politicians. But yeah, the gateway theory is definitely a common one that we hear a lot, but there have been studies that um, have proven that, most people that start using illicit substances usually start with alcohol and tobacco rather than marijuana. So also now we see a lot of people using marijuana as more of an exit drug from more serious like opioids and other prescription medications. So I think now we're kind of making more of an argument that it's an exit drug rather than a gateway drug.
Okay, never really thought of it like that until now. So, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
wait.
because I mean we're in the also in the midst of a opioid epidemic, so I think also a lot of states that have either medical marijuana or recreational marijuana see less like prescription opioid related overdoses, deaths, stuff like that. So
That's always a good thing, less death.
yeah, yeah.
So, how long do you think until we have federal legislation on cannabis passed? And do you think states will try to pass their own laws to make cannabis illegal within the state?
Yeah, so there's actually a piece of legislation in Congress right now called the MORE Act. It's something that NORML has worked extensively on and had a big part in drafting. And it's the most comprehensive marijuana reform legislation ever in Congress. So um, it would essentially remove marijuana from the list of controlled substances, which would end the prohibition. And yeah, essentially that would allow states to move forward as they want to. And would really leave it up to states to, have that authority and move forward at whatever pace that they wanted to. Um, and they could do that without like interference from the federal government or with fear that they're going to be prosecuted or anything from by the feds. So it would kind of not only like end the prohibition on marijuana, it would also fund expungements.
Okay,
And
that's what I was about to ask about. I
yeah, because
know a lot
that's a
of people have records because
sure.
of marijuana and it's ruins their lives.
Yeah, for sure. So expungement is one of our top priorities with any legalization bill, whether it's federally or in the states. So I think it's super important to have automatic expungement, which takes the burden off of the individual because a lot of times it could be expensive and like a long drawn out process. So we really want that burden to be on the courts and those agencies to automatically expunge them rather than people having to like apply for it and pay for it and things like that. So we want to make it as easy as possible for people to not be discriminated against.
Yes,
Yeah.
discrimination is bad.
Yeah. And even medical patients are, face discrimination, which I'm sure you know and everything. But yeah, marijuana conviction will follow someone for the rest of their life.
Um, okay, so now that I've asked you a couple serious questions, I'm going to ask you the most serious question. Uh, what restaurant has the best fries?
In DC. Well, I'm in Washington, DC. Um, that's
Yeah.
a really good question. Honestly, this is gonna sound so terrible, but I really enjoy Popeye's French fries.
Popeyes, we haven't gotten that answer before. Um, we've gotten Arby's and
Um,
McDonald's and Jack.
oh yeah, okay.
Popeyes.
Yeah,
Uh,
growing up, I didn't have Popeyes like within a reasonable distance for me, so I've been introduced to it more in my adult life, and I feel like I missed out as a young child on that part, but
okay. Uh, what are some ways that our viewers could help out with the legalization process or the movement, basically?
yeah, sure. Well, we have normal chapters in pretty much all 50 states, so this is you're local in Alabama, right?
Yeah, I'm in Alabama, but
Okay.
I couldn't find really who was in charge of the chapter in Alabama. I couldn't find a lot of stuff on the individual chapters,
Okay.
unfortunately. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think Alabama Normal is one of our relatively newer chapters. But if for anyone that's listening or watching, if you just go to normal.org/chapters, you can find a normal chapter that's close to you. You could even start your own if that's something that you'd be committed to and interested in. But yeah, I mean, you were talking about this a little bit before. I think it's super important to contact your lawmakers and, tell them what you think and at the state level and the federal level because they're the ones that can change the laws and have the power to do that. So I think it's really important to participate in the legislative process and the democratic process and make your voice heard at every opportunity you can. And yeah, contact your lawmakers. I think that's probably not the number one like easiest thing you could do.
okay, that's that's good to know. Um, and then I have a couple of other questions.
Okay.
They don't have anything to do with our main topic, but they're fun questions.
That's okay.
So let's ask them. Will aliens be nice?
I don't know. I would hope so. But given that I don't think humans are very nice, I don't know about aliens.
That's true. That's true. I remember seeing something on the moon where they found like bioorganisms on Venus.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
interesting.
then it was like aliens are just going to be a letdown. We're going to be excited, new life on other planets, and then like it's life.
Yeah, right. I don't know exactly what that would look like, but
Yeah. Um, and then our final question to kind of wrap up the interview: can cyborgs love?
I have to admit I don't know exactly what a cyborg is,
Oh, it's
but
like a robot and a human had a baby.
ah, that's a super interesting question, and I have no idea. I would say, yeah,
Okay, cool. Love wins.
yes, always love wins.
Okay. Thank you for your time. This has been super exciting for me. I've never talked to a national figure before. I mean,
Yeah, well,
like big up there. So that's really cool. Thank you for your time.
yeah, no problem.
Fingers crossed about the Morax passes and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You as well. Thanks for chatting with me.